All right, who's done? Everybody finished? No? Nowhere near? You ready to pitch now?
Yes, sir.
No? Okay. Okay, all right. So how many of you feel like you got a good beat on at least what you're going to be doing? Raise your hands. Everybody? I want to see everybody, because I know you do. I know you do. Okay, good stuff. Well, thanks for taking a quick break. One of the big pieces of the competition will be how you're going to pitch your idea and your solution. So we're going to just go through some basic guidelines, some logistics right now. But after all of this, I want to open it up to you. We'll talk through some of the questions you might have, some of the ideas you might have. We kind of have a workshop. We have Andrew Daniel here. He was, if you recall from the kickoff, 2016 winner. So he's got some good stuff. Yeah. So he's been here, done it before. He knows how to win this stuff. So always good to have him around. My name is Jonathan Heath. I'm a local engineer and I work with Urban Engine. I've spent a lot of my career doing presentations and pitches for a startup environment. So the biggest thing to know from my career is that anything can happen, make it fun, and work on the fly. So anyways, without further ado, we'll kind of get started on some of the logistics. Okay. How many people knew you had to submit a video for this? I hope everyone put their hands up, because that is one of the criteria. For SpaceAppsHSV, we do require that you put it on YouTube. So I assume most people here have been able to do that. Very easy to set up an account. If we need to, we can go over those logistics as well. But we do need a 2-minute and no more than 2 minutes video posted to YouTube as a part of the submission process. Judges will take that in as the evaluation piece of the project. So it's very important. They don't know what you've been doing. All they know of you is that you have 2 minutes of video to show them. And then the finalists will be selected to give a live presentation on Sunday. So there's kind of two pieces. So we've got two minutes. Actually, it's 3 2 minutes. 2 minutes of video that you will submit along with your working code or your demonstration and everything final. 2 p.m. is the cutoff to code freeze and you get everything uploaded. Your video should be a part of that. Once you're done, if you're selected to be one of the final groups, you will then give a 2-minute live presentation. Now we encourage you to make that a true live presentation. Your video is something that we looked at the judges, but this is a fresh start. You have another 2 minutes to tell them everything about your stuff. You can use your video as a part of that, but we do encourage that you come up, and you'll have time from when you submit to when the final judging is done to come up with another presentation to tweak some interesting things. But by that time, you already know what you're doing. A live presentation should just be you getting up in time and what you can do. And then there'll be 2 minutes of questions. So it's 2 minutes video, 2-minute live presentation, and then 2 minutes of questions from the judges, if you are a finalist. And there are several different categories for finalists, and there are several different winners. And then there will be a final selection from that to move on. I won't talk too much about this, the global challenge criteria. It's slightly different, but what we're talking about right now is the submission for the Huntsville situation. Cool. Let's talk a little bit about the judging criteria. That's pretty straightforward. They'll look at 0 to 5 on the following criteria. And this should all, by the way, be in your participants packs. So you should have this information already at hand, but we'll go over it a little bit. Impact. Pretty basic, right? What does this project have in a big picture situation, right? How does this solution look or could be extended further into actually solving real problems? We'll talk a little bit later about how your pitch and your presentation today should really be nicely bundled together, nicely formed to create something you can accomplish in the weekend. But a part of that is how do you extend this? How do you make this a true idea that NASA can take or a private industry can take and make into a real world thing? Of course, creativity. Is this a new solution, a creative way of approaching a solution? Does it break from an established design? There's many ways to be creative within bounds or thinking right outside the box. So we do talk about creativity and encourage that. Complexity. And this is a tough one to balance, right? You want to make your project complex enough that it's innovative, that it's creative, that it's going to be doing great things, but you also don't want to make it too complex that you can't accomplish what you're looking to do in your demonstration for this particular hackathon. So complexity is a piece of it, and the judges will take into consideration, hey, did they kind of go after something and really try and solve something. Maybe you guys didn't come to a complete demonstration like you wanted to, but you were complex in what you're trying to address the problem with. And then obviously the presentation. This is important. This is actually something that carries over to private industry and into governmental things as well. You're going to spend your entire career, for those that aren't already in it, or those who are there, you can continue, trying to convince people to invest time, resources, money into a project. So you're going to have to come up with a very concise way of presenting an idea or a project to a group of people that might have no clue what you're doing, what the context is. So the presentation, being a part of this, is actually a very important part of doing anything in life. So those are the 4 major criteria. Does anybody have any questions so far about the process or anything like that? So you can hear a little better. Yeah, we got 1, 2. Yeah.
I just have a question on the 2 minutes.
Yes.
Is your storyteller in the 2-minute video presentation the same person that has to do the 2-minute pitch if you become a finalist, or
No.
can you do a different person?
No, and you don't even have to have, I'll talk about it's probably good to have somebody dedicated to thinking about that. Your entire team can be a part, and I'll show you some demonstration videos, some pitches from past. We got Andrew's winning some as well. Your entire team probably is better to show that because it'll show collaboration. So it's not just one person, either the live or the video. In fact, we encourage that everybody participate because this is a team event and collaboration is a part of it. One of the awards is actually to talk about collaboration. Anything else? You got yours all? All right, good stuff. I like it. Okay, so let's go now. This you've probably seen as well if you looked at any material. 240 seconds to load. This is a little bit of a misnomer because we only talk about 2 minutes, but the process here, the who, what, when, and how portion of it still applies. You're looking to, I won't go over all the elements to this. I encourage you to go look it up. It's in your participant guide. But what we're looking to do is kind of put things in kind of 4 categories. We want attention and authenticity. So if you want to spend the first portion of your video, or your pitch, grabbing the attention of your audience. Think of it as like an entrepreneurial Shark Tank type thing, right? You want to make sure they understand who you are, what you're doing, what makes your team and your solution special, and then show them your passion, right? This is when they're going to start listening, when you're going to make your first impression. So grab the attention, make sure you're authentic and towards your point, and then create empathy for the problem is the next piece. Why is it important? Humanize, appeal to your audience. Know thine audience, right? That's a very key piece as well. But kind of form the story. And I'm going to use the term story and storytelling throughout this, because this is really what your pitch is, right? You have 2 minutes. That's actually a long time, right? The elevator pitch is 10 seconds. If you capture interest, you have another 30 seconds in most cases. And actually, I can tell you a personal story about how my previous company, one of the biggest accounts we got was literally on an elevator ride at a hotel, completely out of the blue, no idea that my VP of sales and someone else was going to be in the elevator. And it was literally an elevator pitch that won the account for us. But you have to have that available. You have to have that in the back of your head and concisely and clearly and very quickly give your idea and your solution. So, as a part of this story, we're crafting, right? So we start off, authenticity, grab some attention, start building empathy, and then getting to your idea. Kind of explain the concept, what you're trying to do. And then talk about some of the future elements, some of the impacts to that, how it can be extended, why this is important as you kind of finally finish that. And during this, you'll see in some of the example videos, you probably want to demonstrate that throughout, right? So a video is a great way of doing that. Live presentation is a little more than want to speak and then show a demonstration and talk through demonstration. But for your video, a great idea is to actually have the demonstration of the prototyping going on or being shown throughout the duration of your story, and have it kind of tie into why, show your demo as a part of the grab, and then kind of follow your storyline again with the different elements of your demonstration. So you'll notice that there is a show a demo, but it's not really, hey, I'm going to talk and then I'm going to show you my demo. Try and interweave that into the entire story, because again, it's all part of the story. Make sense? Cool deal. In your participants pack, take a look at this guy. Okay, now, we're going to look at some example pitches. Let's see if we can make this work. The first one, actually, we're going to start first, because I'm going to save Andrews.
Hello. My name is Starlight. My artificial intelligence was developed to assist the crew at the high seas habitat in Hawaii. I carefully monitor energy production and consumption and will alert the crew in the event of emergencies.
Demonstration throughout. They're already
You
showing
may
some of their
interface
products,
with
what
me
they're doing.
using auditory commands and touch. I display real-time data of energy produced, consumption and solar panel efficiency, and I will guide you on how best to use your energy by analyzing the weather for maximum comfort and production. If maintenance is required to be performed, I will assist you in preparation and execution of all necessary tasks.
So notice they're telling a story of what they're doing, and why they're, and how they're doing.
Allowing you to utilize Starlight technology for assistance outside of the habitat. Crew members are able to communicate with you through Starlight mobiles, integrated transceivers, camera, and display systems. While the habitat personnel provide support and monitor your progress, Starlight's built-in heads-up display will deliver the same benefits as well as holographic visual aids to carry out maintenance. I will help you repair damaged solar panels or components to get the high seas energy production system operating at optimal specifications and different weather conditions.
So again, they're demonstrating the hardware, software,
To
I don't know about the music, it's a little sad, isn't it? All right.
Friends, and just a couple comments on that video. Some things that, lessons learned, stuff that I liked, stuff that I didn't like. In hindsight, I wish I didn't use an AI to do the voice, like text-to-speech, because I had a lot of people comment I didn't understand what they said at one point. So I was like, yeah, maybe I shouldn't have done that. It was a little long. Yeah, the music was kind of like a sad theme, but the challenge was called "You Are My Sunshine," and I hired a cellist to play "You Are My Sunshine" on a cello video. So I thought that was kind of cool, but yeah, it's maybe shouldn't have put that in there. So things that I liked about it. We'll see this in another video too. One comment I had is just talking about outsourcing some of your stuff. So like I said, I got a cellist to do the music, and then I used some stock footage as well. I didn't animate that earth or whatever. I just paid for it.
Yeah, so I did put that one in a little shock and awe because Andrew had obviously known what it was taking to win. He came in the next year with some stuff in his back pocket. Are you serious? So it was a little bit of shock and awe just to show you the high production value situation. But again, you notice that they tied in throughout the demonstration. They told the story of an astronaut and kept that demonstration going. Actually, this is your actual winning submission, right? The fractal.
Very soon we'll have astronauts exploring underground environments on the moon, on Mars, and on asteroids.
The initial problem that we recognize, you're ready walls. This leads to lack of clean mind and situational awareness.
Right off the
The
bat.
solution we came up with is FractalNet, a series of short-range radio relays that extend from mobile devices moving through the caves back to a central base station.
So this network is with Data Glove, an interface not only to the nodes, but to almost everything on the network. It can control robots. If an astronaut trips and takes a fall, the other astronaut can see that the first one was in distress and react and communicate with him to make sure everything's okay. One of the other features of this Data Glove with its gesture inputs is it can also be used for entertainment.
The nodes that comprise FractalNet can be deployed dynamically as the team of explorers proceed down a cave.
The system lets them know you're starting to get a weak signal, and they simply deploy another node.
FractalNet is useful not only in exploring caves and
the extension.
moon,
To go further.
Mars, and asteroids, but it's also useful for similar environments.
to what we were talking about, right? Did a graph at the beginning, talked about the problem, right? That there's communication problems when you're deep in, and the video kind of highlighted that right there, that an astronaut who's deep in a tunnel can communicate. Talked about what the solution was going to be, and then described that solution, and then extension further into some other applications. So, yeah, this was the winning one, right?
Yeah, some comments about this one. I still like watching it every time I see it. The Starlight one, not so much, but this one I really like seeing. Again, music with stock music. You can go on, if you just like type in like stock music, stock video, there's websites out there where you can download these things.
YouTube has them. Yeah.
Yeah. Usually the websites have like more variety and I think better stuff. But all those animations in there, like we just bought those. And funny story about this video was the Starlight one, like we wrote out a script and we shot it according to the script. This one was done sort of after the fact. So I would, there's kind of two ways you can go about it. You can either write a script, or the way that we did this one was we had like a whiteboard with all the different ideas about our project down, and we had all the different things that it did, and anything having to do with the project, we wrote on the whiteboard, and then we literally sat around a table for like 3 hours, like explaining the project into the microphone, and then so that's what I took and like chopped it up and so I created the story sort of after we read about all the stuff, which I think I got lucky and I found this path to go through a storyline, but just interesting, one way to kind of approach it is not having a script first.
Yeah, so those were two good examples. One of the things, and actually I have this as a point later on, you notice that Andrew actually probably we had the biggest production value, right? It had the cello music, was well scripted, had probably better graphics built in. The story didn't as much as this one. This one is really on point, I thought, from the structure judges are going to want to see. And I thought it really described what the fractal net solution was. So again, there's a wow element to it, but don't get too involved in the production value that you lose what you're trying to communicate to the judges. You only have 2 minutes to talk to them about all the fun stuff, cool stuff. I'm going to really talk this in here as well. So this is a short one. Let's see.
CRESSpace, autonomous farming on basis of collaborative gaming. The gamers are trained to adapt to the changing needs of the plant. This box learns how to farm from gamers' input. Instead of agriculture for their daily needs, it will help astronauts to focus on important tasks. It will make Earth-independent space missions possible. Cress.space. Be part of a growing community.
Okay, now, I don't want to pick on a presentation in particular, but, and they have this one was only 30 seconds long. But what, anybody in the audience, what do you think is missing from this? Yes. So she said they didn't state a problem. No, they didn't really state a problem, did they? No?
Team identity.
Team identity. Deduction.
Yeah, they didn't really kind of describe really any of the core elements we were talking about. What is my problem? How are we actually going about solving it? They talked about their elements, but it really was out of context, wasn't it? They had some neat graphics. They actually talked about what they were doing, but it didn't have enough context initially for us to really know. It said gaming, but we didn't know how, is the comment. Yeah, exactly. It talked about elements, but it didn't tell a story, right? It just gave some facts, and we don't know anything about it, so you or these people had worked on this project for a long time. It's in their heads, but it didn't come out. So that's one of the things I really want to impart to you for your pitch. These people don't know anything about what you've been doing for the last 48 hours here, or the last several years of your life, right? You need to be able to communicate that very clearly in structure. Good. Anything? That's the idea that I want you to take from our little talk today. Cool deal? Any other questions or comments about some of the examples? Okay.
What video editing software what did you use?
I used Adobe Premiere Pro.
Okay, the question was video editing software. I actually had a little thing at the end here where we were talking about some of the tools, and you used Adobe Premiere? Yeah.
And After Effects.
And After Effects as well, yeah. Now, if you do have an editing tool like that, or Final Cut, or some of the paid ones, that's great. There are free ones as well that you can use to slap together a pretty decent video. And there's some really good non-linear editors now available for free or for trial. But Adobe's definitely the best. Any other questions?
What would your tips be on creating videos when you don't have the final product created quite yet?
Okay, so the question is, how would you go about making your video if you don't have a final product? Maybe you don't make your video just yet, or maybe you show some mock examples, like some Andrews that are putting some stuff up on the wall. Obviously, they had a story to tell, right? So they kind of had an idea of the story, even if they hadn't written a script like they did for the first video. They still had an idea of what. That is something you probably should do before you even start your project in general, right? What are you trying to solve? How are you trying to solve it? These things, the rough draft overview outline of your project in general, should be the format for your video, right? So the whole what you're trying to do with your project, it should be the basis of that storyline as well, that storyboard. So you already have a start on it if you've already started in your project, hopefully. If not, you might want to go back and do that. So definitely starting on that. So you can do some of the video shooting of maybe putting up some of your sensors like they did in that. Maybe shoot some introductory pieces, having somebody looking at some of the graphics and some of the animations you might want to do. You can still do that, and then incorporate them into the final product. Because yes, you're gonna have some stuff maybe doesn't work like you think it will. You won't have a full demonstration. Maybe you'll change some elements that you'll work on, but I think the idea of what I was trying to communicate, if you notice from the examples we showed, the final demonstration piece of it didn't influence the overall storyline as much as you might think. So you can work that through. So yes, one of the things when we get the tips and hints for use of it, don't wait till the end to start this, guys. You've seen what these videos do. All this takes longer than you might think to do a video. It really does. I did a promo for this event, and it took me hours longer than I thought it did, even though I had all the clips and was arranging. It was just, making sure overlays were correct, transitions were good. Oh, nuts, the pop from the explosion starts 2 seconds too soon, not gonna move. Those things take a long time. So you must start at least elements of your video. Storyboarding, maybe filming some of it, thinking about music and sound and animation now. It's a part of what you're doing. It's a very important piece. Cool. All right, so yeah, what the biggest piece was missing was that they didn't connect the dots for the viewer here. All right, so let's look at some of those tips and hints, right? 2 minutes, that's it, that's all. This is how you're going to convey all your interactions, and that's all you got. This is what you need to do, so tell your story. We've kind of gone over all these things already. Storyboard, gather bits and pieces as you go along, maybe gather some ideas as you go on. Dedicate time and resources. Have somebody, your question about, does it have to be one person presenting or a review? No, it can be the entire team. But it's probably good to have somebody responsible for the story and or production just as the lead person, just so that they're thinking about this and adding elements. Maybe they're getting input from team members, but have somebody do that. Recruit some experts. Andrew, went as far as to hire a cellist to play a song that he thought would work really well. That's great. Great at thinking outside the box, right? You can find some expertise again online with the content pieces of it. NASA has provided the subject matter experts to answer any questions you might have online. Does everybody know about that feature? If you go to SpaceAppsHSV, they actually have, for each of the challenges, Michael showed it in the introductory piece, actually have experts back with. And it will help you a definition of the problem to the data that's been made available. Each of the pages, you actually have data. Use that if you take that challenge, look at how you can use that data. It's very important. They wouldn't give it to you if it's not very important to the overall solution. And then, who's your pitch person? Again, it doesn't have to be the person who does everything, but you probably want, when you do get to the final live presentation, you probably want somebody who's handling the bulk of the description, the bulk of the presentation. Okay, we kind of talked about this. Tell your story. It is an art. You have 2 minutes, which in the video world is actually a long time, right? Most commercials are 15 to 30 seconds, right? So tell your story. Stay on topic. Be sharp with what your goals are. To tell that story in the art that we looked at in the graphic. It's better to have a very well-defined and attainable hack with potential big impact than it is to have something that's kind of all over the place and nobody really knows what it was and we got half of it done, but it could be really cool if you did all these things. Focus on solving the problem and knowledge, right? And then have your video content prove that pitch problem. Again, these are all things that we've talked about as we went through these guys. So tell the story, important. Okay, but be fun, right? Sometimes you can actually get too produced, right? And kind of lose the fun aspect of it. Some of the great videos, Andrew actually said he wouldn't use the voice, the special voice actor or the text voice there, right? Them narrating their own story, I think, led better credence to the actual hack portion of it. But you do want to be fun. Use media to engage the audience, differentiate yourself from the rest. Doesn't have to be the best quality, just engaging, right? Telling the story. Again, the more of Andrew's 2 videos, the more produced version didn't really tell the story as the other one did. But both of them are really good videos. And so highlight how various members of the team work together as well if you can do that. You can weave that into the storyline by showing different people working in their elements. But part of the essence of what this hackathon and Space Apps Challenge is to show teamwork and collaboration. So try to highlight that if you can throughout the presentation. Okay, and again, just to reiterate, we're talking about the flow here. What's the problem? How are you solving that problem? Is your solution unique? How is it unique? How did you go about solving that problem? What's the bigger picture impact? And then having demos of that as well. So that's kind of your flow there. Cool. Another kind of way to look at this, there's actually going to be a series of awards given to teams outside of just who gets selected as the finalists. So again, your only interaction with the judges is going to be your video. So kind of look at some of these and show how you can do this as well. The first, use of creativity. How did you think outside the box? There's a $500 reward for innovation. So we talked about some of the complexity as part of that. If you can show how cool and how complex and how innovative we were, there's an award for that. And then the mentors and the people that are helping you throughout this weekend, we'll be looking at a couple different ones. Lean forward, fail smart. This is one I like, because inevitably there's going to be a team that is shooting for the stars, doing great work, and they come across something that's just killer, right? The piece of equipment they need for their demo falls apart. This one is going to be given to people who endure that. So if you have that, it can even be a part of your pitch presentation, how you overcame your obstacles. And then teamwork. We talked about that. How do you show how you have full participation from your team? Make sense? Any questions? Besides my 6-year-old son? No? Good stuff? Good stuff. All right, that's all I have for you on that. But I'd love to spend the next little while talking about each of the elements that you might have, specifics, and questions, anything you want to talk about. Andrew and I will be up front here. Love to talk to you. Other than that, good luck on the rest of your hack. Any questions? Okay, we got a question.
What's the editing software you use for the video?
Yeah, so there's a couple of ones. I use one Spot. Let's see. This is one. There's DaVinci is another one. That's right. So OpenShot is one that I used. bring this up just to kind of show you what some of the others. And these all almost look exactly the same, right? This looks like Final Cut. This looks like, and the other things. I'll put the project actually did for. So you'll see that most of them take kind of the same format, right? You're going to have a series of files here that you can use as inputs. You're going to have your actual timeline down at the bottom, and you can have your preview here. So this is OpenShot. Let's see if I put it back in there. And at any point in time, you can see that you can overlay different elements. So I've overlaid a NASA video with its underlying voice, and then overlaid my own voice from that. So you can come in and do several different layers of things. So there's all sorts of different software pieces to do this. This is just OpenShot. Completely free, very intuitive. For I'm going to be in again in a couple hours. So OpenShot is one to do that. DaVinci is another one. Andrew used Adobe's version. Final Cut is another one that a lot of people use. I know that's great stuff. And what was the actual?
After Effects is
After
for special effects stuff.
Yeah, special effects after.
And just wanted to add with the Adobe stuff, like there's a learning curve where, I mean, it's probably harder to use than this, but I believe you should be able to download the Adobe suite and have like a 30-day trial. So, you don't need to use it after a month.
So there's lots of free trials. What Andrew was talking about, if you didn't hear, he said Adobe has usually a 30-day free trial. A lot of the big software pieces do, so go ahead and do that. But they do have a little bit of a larger learning curve, but they have more power, right? So you don't want to spend a whole lot of time learning. You've got limited time and resources right now, guys, right? You got to put together your hackathon, you got to think about your video, you got to shoot your video. So editing shouldn't hopefully take up too much of your time, but it'll take up a lot more than you think. So try and pick some tools that are intuitive, and maybe use some of the really tough pieces, unless you know that, unless you enlisted an expert on that, and shoot for an attainable goal. But again, you saw the quality of some of these videos. I encourage you to shoot for the stars with it too. Good stuff.
Okay, for the teams that do make it to the second 2-minute video, 2-minute presentation, I'm sorry. How long will we have to prepare for the 2-minute live presentation?
Aha, yes. So the question was, for those who do make it past the video round, we'll call it, and into the live round, you'll have a couple hours. Submissions will be done around 2. I think 2:30 is when everything has to be finally buttoned up and all the portals shut down. And the presentations will start around 5. So you'll have a couple hours, but you won't know who the finalists are. That is one piece of it. So everybody's got to, every team, if you think you're going to make it on, which why are you competing if you don't, man? Come on. Assume you're going to the live round. So have at least an idea of what you're going to do for the live piece of it. Make sense? Good deal. Another question? Yeah.
For the live round, would you recommend preparing a PowerPoint presentation or just?
Yeah, you can do that. And again, you don't want to get too caught. It's a balancing act between presenting a very professional and supportive graphic and media piece, right? You want to support the ideas and the things you're trying to communicate. So if you have a PowerPoint presentation you think backs up what you're trying to do, then sure, yeah, I would encourage that. Or Prezi, I use for this, I use a tool called Prezi. It's an online tool, Prezi.com. Have something to support, but don't spend too much time on that. Spend some time about maybe creative ideas of how to communicate what you're doing, demonstrate what you're doing in a live format. You can even talk over Matt. Matt made a good point. If you want to use your video, turn off the sound and talk to the elements of it as you're going through. That's actually a great way of doing it as well. But again, come up with creative ways of using that very valuable live time with the judges to show the creativity of your team, the awesomeness of your project. Anyone? Again, my 6-year-old son is not able to ask questions. Anybody else? Okay. Ms. Peter, you have a question.
Can they stick around if they need to ask you specific questions?
Oh, yes, that was the idea. Andrew and I will be here. We'll break up now. But if you do have any questions about your specific product, oh, wait, Matt's coming. You want to say something? Come on down, we'll talk about it.
Yeah, I just want to remind everybody, there's an event happening at US Space and Rocket Center called Observe the Moon. So it's, I think, a free event at the Davidson Center. So if you want to go there, they have telescopes set up and some other stuff. It's open to the public. So yeah, and I think it's from now until 9.
I got one more thing.
Oh, Andrew, go on.
One more thing about your video. Have you guys ever noticed when you're watching like YouTube or another thing on your phone, maybe Netflix, that sometimes if like your signal's not too great, that it gets a little pixelated? All right. A part of the video that never really degrades in quality is audio. So usually like the audio, whether it's 240p or 1080p, is all the same. That's because when we watch videos, we can rarely forgive bad audio. If it's like staticky or something like that, you're just like, I'm turning that off. But you can forgive some poor quality with video if it's like, if you're in bad connections. So keep that in mind when you're recording your video, to do it in a quiet place. Because if you do it in one of these rooms that people are packing in, you'll hear people talking in the background, you might hear some car horns or something. So think about where you might get isolated so you can record.
Yeah, that's a very excellent point, yes. So the video is, you can do it in all sorts of places. Audio, you want a nice quiet place to do it. Good stuff. All right, well, we'll hang around for a little bit. If you do have any questions, logistics, want to talk about your own project. Thank you all for your time. And if you have,